Hi, my name is Amanda and I'm the author at 20tinytoes.com. Today I'm here to talk to you about some of the early signs of twin pregnancy. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe to my channel and visit 20tinytoes.com for more. Thank you. So today I'm here to talk to you about some of the early signs of twin pregnancy based on my own experience with having twins. At the end of this video, I will share with you the exact cycle day that I tested positive with my twin pregnancy. My twins were the result of IVF. However, we certainly did not expect to actually end up with twins. I had an egg retrieval and ended up with 2 embryos out of the whole process, and so we did choose, at the advice of our doctors, to go ahead and transfer both embryos. Based on my age and history of miscarriage, we did not expect for both embryos to actually implant and become twins. So naturally, while I was waiting to find out if I was indeed pregnant, I was wondering if I was going to have twins. I certainly didn't expect that it was going to wind up being twins, but I was on the lookout for some symptoms while I waited for my first doctor visit to confirm whether or not I was pregnant with 1 or 2 babies. So the first symptom that I noticed was nausea. The nausea came on much earlier and stronger than with my single pregnancy. Now I know that each pregnancy and each person is different, and some twin parents, some twin mothers don't end up getting nauseous at all, while some mothers of 1 baby get super nauseous. But for me, in comparing my twin pregnancy to my single pregnancy, the nausea definitely was sooner and stronger. Now my first appointment with the fertility clinic where we had the first ultrasound was done right at 6 weeks, and I was already extremely nauseous by the time that appointment came around, so much so that I was asking about medication at that visit. I asked about the medication first before the ultrasound even began, and it was kind of funny because after having the ultrasound and discovering that I was in fact pregnant with twins, the doctor said to me, well, that explains the nausea. So that was definitely the first and worst sign that I was pregnant with twins. Another sign that led me to think that I might be pregnant with twins was extreme breast tenderness and pain. I did have this symptom with my first pregnancy, however, it just wasn't as bothersome. And again, it didn't happen as soon as it happened in my twin pregnancy. Being pregnant with twins, my breasts were just so sore and uncomfortable that even wearing a bra was uncomfortable. So this was definitely a sign for me that maybe I was pregnant with more than 1 baby. One of the other early signs that I was pregnant with twins was being very tired and fatigued. So much more so than with my first pregnancy. Now I was a bit older, and also now having to care for my firstborn child at the time, but still it was very noticeable how much more tired I was. I just pretty much wanted to lay on the couch all day, especially combined with the nausea. I was lucky that my daughter was old enough to sit with me on the couch and watch a movie while I took a little nap most days, because I could not make it through the day without that nap, and I was going to bed super early, sleeping as late as possible, and just tired the whole day through in those early days. Luckily, by the 2nd trimester, that nausea and that tiredness did get better, but the first few weeks and first couple of months were rough. Since my twins were the result of IVF, I was given blood tests early on to check my pregnancy hormone, and the first test did come back positive, which was wonderful. Of course, I already knew anyway because I had been taking home pregnancy tests. But what led me and also the nurse who called to think that it might be twins was that my HCG blood level was so high, higher than it would normally be with a single pregnancy. Now again, everyone's different and everyone's hormones rise at a different level, but when the nurse called, she did hint to the fact that I might be pregnant with twins based on the level of HCG in my blood tests. Another early twin pregnancy sign was the bloating and weight gain that just happened a lot faster. It was pretty sudden instead of a gradual kind of gain of weight. That first trimester, the bloating and just weight gain, even though the babies themselves weren't the issue, you know, they're not that big to be causing the weight gain, but there was just an awful lot of bloating and everything was tight. I needed to put on maternity clothes much sooner than with my single pregnancy, and so that was another sign to me that it might be twins even prior to that first appointment where we confirmed that it was in fact twins. Another not so common sign for me that it might be twins was my resting heart rate was slightly elevated, which made me nervous of being a person with some anxiety anyway. I could just kind of always feel my heart pounding a little bit, and I had a fitness tracker on, and my resting heart rate was always in the 80s, whereas normally for me it's more like the 60s. And I did speak to the doctor about that, who let me know that partly that was because of the progesterone injections that I was taking because of having the IVF procedure, but also just in general in pregnancy there's more of that hormone, and with twins that's doubled. So luckily this did ease up in the second trimester, but it was definitely another sign that I was pregnant with twins. So as promised, I will now share with you when I got my first home pregnancy test that was positive. So when you go through IVF and you have an egg retrieval, and the hormones you're taking can give you a false positive pregnancy test. So I bought a bunch of dollar store pregnancy tests, which surprisingly will give you a very early result, similar to the early result pregnancy test that you can get at the drugstore. So I bought a bunch of those and I started testing the day of the embryo transfer, and it would show positive that day because the hormones were still in me from the egg retrieval, and I tested every day after that. So I started testing every day starting on the day of the embryo transfer, and a few days after that I wasn't seeing any more positive pregnancy tests based on the hormones, so I was now able to continue testing to see if I was in fact pregnant or not. So I tested every day, and on the day that would be 8 days past my egg retrieval, or for those of you not going through IVF, that would be basically eight days past ovulation is when I got my first positive pregnancy test. And it wasn't even very faint. It was pretty clearly positive. I always suggest using that pink dye pregnancy tests rather than the blue. They're easier to confirm pregnancy with, and even if you see the faintest pink line, that is still a positive. However, mine was pretty obvious that I was pregnant. So that was 8 days post egg retrieval, which works out to cycle day 22 for me. So my cycles are usually pretty regular, and for me, I usually have a 28-day cycle. So day 29 would have been the first day of my missed period. So if you're going based on how home pregnancy tests tell you how many days before a missed period you can get a positive test, this would have put me at 7 days before my missed period, which is pretty early, especially since even the most sensitive tests won't be 100% accurate at that time. So that is how I was pretty sure that I might be pregnant with twins even before confirming with the ultrasound at the clinic. Hopefully you found this video helpful. As always, I would appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel, and please visit 20tinytoes.com for more. Thank you.